shorties. Good evening. Educaid and the Women's Project in Port District. In supporting this project, you will be getting girls back into education, getting some of the most vulnerable girls in the world back into education. Port is in the northern region. It has been traditionally completely on the back foot for education generally, but certainly for women. It's the area where the chiefs aren't allowed to be women, where women just don't get a look in at all. So how? These are some of the numbers. We're focusing on 2 of our schools. The Women's Project is secondary. It's about getting secondary age girls back into class because they have below secondary ability or standard at the moment. One way or another, they've been deprived of primary education or effective primary education, so they aren't able to access secondary schooling. So to get there, they either go and sit with the 7-year-olds or they don't go. So it's a catch-up education program to get girls into school again, into the mainstream classes and achieving. It's numeracy, it's literacy and self-esteem, so that they can go and function in the mainstream classes competently and confidently and work their way through to the top. What will you be paying for? You'll be training staff, you'll be paying for their salaries, you'll be feeding the girls, all important. You don't feed them, they don't stay, they can't, they've got to go out looking for food, and getting them some school materials. Where is Sierra Leone? What is Sierra Leone? When I first moved out to Sierra Leone, it was the poorest country in the world. That was in the year 2000. And we were in the last stages of a very, very nasty war. Now, 14 years on, we're kind of forgotten, but we're still the 11th poorest in the world. And the poverty looks like 1 in 5 children die under the age of 5, average life expectancy in the 40s. That means if you're one of the lucky few to get to secondary education, you're very unlikely to make it there with both parents alive, and so on and so on. It's a place where it's a tough place to be, and my advice, don't be a woman there. Where is it? Straight down the world from here on a plane for about 6 hours, stop before you get to the equator, and there you are. Small country, about the same size as Wales. So everything is possible. It could so easily be changed if the political will were there. Many contrasts. It could be a wealthy country for so many reasons. The agriculture, the mineral resources, the fantastic beaches, and yet there is abject poverty. And we may well be, apparently we are, the fastest growing economy in the world. I don't see that. I see new roads, I see mining companies, but we have not seen any changes. 1 in 10 women die in childbirth, 1 in 5 children still dying under 5. You know, those realities of the economy are reaching the ministers and the powerful, they are not reaching the people. So Educaid in general we started in 2000, that's us under the tree, maths on the left, RE on the right, and things are pretty basic. And but that was at a time where people were so excited to have any way of getting back into education. We started with 20 kids. These days we've made a bit of progress on from there. That's my mother-in-law's vegetable patch converted. I couldn't get land without bribing, so it was my mother-in-law's vegetable patch that we used. And there are about 700 kids going to school in that school, but we've now got 8 other sites, and in September there'll be 2 more. And we're providing the highest quality education we can to over 3,000 children. At least half, closer to 2/3 live in. We're not talking Harry Potter dorms and nice common rooms. When we're talking about boarding school here, we're talking about living in the classrooms. Our blackboards are cupboards. The kids' stuff gets stuffed in the blackboard cupboards in the morning, and out it comes at night. But it makes it all add up. It makes it all possible. They are able to attend school that way. Like I said, we have to be feeding them, it's basic, but it keeps everybody fed and in school and able to perform. It's not just that we have the Women's Project attached to every secondary school, which we do. It is also that throughout everything we're doing, we have a real clear understanding that if girls are deprived, if women are not equal, the whole of society suffers. So it's key that we get the boys fighting for the women's education. It's key that we get the girls confident. I mean, there is no woman here that would ever be saying, well, you can't expect too much from me because my brain's not as good as the boys. I'm only a girl. And that's what some of our girls say. So we've got a big problem. There's lots more I'd like to say. I will whiz straight through to, those are our fees. It's about the kids taking responsibility for themselves, excellent attendance, excellent behaviour, excellent effort. Doesn't matter how poor you are, you can pay. Nobody can pay for you though. Half of our teachers are our past pupils, which means we have an extraordinary team of loyal, committed teachers. And we'll whiz through that. And just to say, for example, Aisata ran away from a horrible home situation where she was being deprived of food and overworked, ran to her mother who had no way of getting her into school, picked up by an Educaid teacher who put her in the Women's Project. Hard, going back to school after 3-4 years. And now she is studying development studies at university, passionate not just about sorting her own life out, but about fighting for girls back into education. That's what's possible. Please do support us.